Malik Dana. Introduction. In a distant time, before the wind sang laments over ruins, Damar shone like a jewel across Jagori. Its tall mountains and castle walls pierced the sun, and its watchtowers of castles kept eyes on the valleys night and day. The people of Damar were known for their clamor and courage, for their work in cultivation, heavenly fruits, and for their songs and celebrations. It was a prosperous village with the reviving landscapes and a fortress that warmed hearts with its steadfastness. In the village of Damar, Gulzar, not far from these walls, had a wise chief called him Malik Dana, though his mother named him Ghulam Hyder Khan. From young age, people praised his courage, sharpness of thoughts, and incomparable hospitality and good negotiation skill. The height of his wisdom, his moral weight, drew people in. The rulers didn't like it. His growing influence, this Malikism, this leadership wisdom, had stolen sleep from the eyes of his competitors. They feared his wisdom more than they feared death itself. As he grew older, his wisdom and influence surpassed his height. His father bought him a black stallion called Kumail. No one could ride Kumail except Malik Dana. The horse was wild as mountain wind, yet gentle as evening prayer beneath his hand. Due to its sparkling color of black, the sun was dancing along with him as he rode. Children and his people slept at ease to the cadence of his footsteps when he would arrive in Dashti Dalan, 40 kilometers away from his village. The rhythm of Kumail's hooves on stone became a lullaby that the guardian of justice rode through the night. But power fears what it cannot control. When persuasion failed and threats rang hollow, the rulers reached for the cruelest weapon they knew. They killed his elder brother, a warning written in blood to demoralize and breach the growth of his influence. Warnings do not settle on men like Malik Dana. Grief bows a man's shoulders, yet it cannot bend his spine when truth holds him upright. The loss carved deep, but it didn't hollow him out. If anything, it sharpened his purpose. They thought pain would make him retreat. Instead, it taught him exactly what he was up against. Grief took something from him. It did not take his direction. He still stood square to the wind. When they couldn't break him with violence, they tried something more heinous. The rulers needed legitimacy for their cruelty, so they wove a lie. They made up charges against him. Rebellion, they said. Then they went to the scholars, demanding a judicial decree to give their falsehood the weight of law. Most signed, whether from fear or favor. Malik Dana understood the trap closing around him. He saw the choice before him: resist openly and die, or find another way. So he made a decision that looked like surrender, but was in truth the wisest move of all. He took on the appearance of madness. To the world, he looked like a fool, but he wore the gown of divine wisdom. The disguise set him free from their surveillance. The tyrants stopped watching him, dismissing him as harmless. And once their eyes turned away, he did what he'd always done, only now openly and without restraint. He mocked corruption. He exposed injustice. He humiliated arrogant rulers with sharp words. People still came to him from his village and beyond, seeking his counsel for disputes between families, between tribes. Neighboring communities sought him out to negotiate settlements that others couldn't broker. His apparent folly became his shield, and behind that shield, his work continued. People weren't fooled. They saw the light of wisdom, fairness shining through him, the way dawn breaks through mountain mist, undeniable, warming everything it touches. They recognized his moral clarity, that rare quality that cannot be taught or bought, only earned through a lifetime of choosing right over easy. His stories spread, and still spread today, carried from elder to child, from village to village, across valleys and over peaks. They are lessons in courage, in humility, in faith. They remind us that sometimes the fool speaks the truest words, that strength doesn't always announce itself with a sword, and that a man who surrenders his reputation to save his integrity has lost nothing at all. In tea houses and around hearths, when talk turns to what it means to stand firm in troubled times, someone will say, "Remember Malik Dana," and in that remembering, he lives still. Malik Dana was a scholar, a man of intellect and virtue. He spoke carefully, defended the faith, stood up for those who couldn't stand up for themselves. The path he chose wasn't weakness, it was survival with honor. It was during those days he convinced his father to donate a big portion of his land to build a school called madrasa. It was the first educational center in Jagori that attracted people from the neighboring villages. What the tyrants tried to silence with violence, Malik Dana answered with knowledge and patience. While they ruled through fear, he built through learning. The madrasa proved that wisdom outlasts the sword, that a people armed with understanding cannot be truly conquered. Students came first a trickle, then a stream, seeking what no ruler could take from them, the ability to think, to question, to understand the world beyond the shoulders of mountains and elbows of castles. In this, perhaps lay Malik Dana's greatest act of resistance, not in mocking the powerful, but in lighting lamps they could never extinguish. Time has a way of revealing truth. The years passed and something remarkable happened. Those who had feared him most began seeking his counsel. The very rulers who had tried to destroy him found themselves at his door, asking him to settle disputes within their own families, between their communities. The scholars who had signed decrees against him came at nights, seeking his wisdom on matters they couldn't resolve themselves. Power, it turns out, is temporary. Wisdom endures. The man they dismissed as mad became the arbiter they couldn't do without. His apparent folly had been patience. His madness had been mercy, giving his enemies time to see what they had tried to extinguish. In the end, Malik Dana didn't defeat his opponents. He simply outlived their cruelty and outlasted their fear, until even they had to admit the fool had been wiser than them all.